have a vision, have a map. You can only get that vision if you ask God, and He wants you today.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Benrolins Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Benrolins Awandem. Today's going to be a great episode. I have a very empowering and strong lady in the building. She's an entrepreneur, a business lady, and she's a leader, and now a nurse. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me. Welcome this wonderful lady. She is no other person than the one and only Shrylock L. Hey, Michelle, how you doing? I hope I said that right.
Yes, short person, Shrylock, the shortest person in the world.
Nah, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad, but you good though. So how you doing today, man?
I'm really good. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine, and I really appreciate you for really coming today. You know, sometimes we have a lot of crazy things to do, and just you having a moment to share with me is a plus, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming once more. So, how was life like growing up? Because I want to get that, and my viewers always want to know the background information of the guests.
Oh, okay. So, I grew up in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
I'm a quarter British and then Filipino. So I came from a home wherein we really have a combination of culture, the Asian culture plus the Western influence. So growing up, I am kind of not too Asian, not too submissive like Asian culture. I'm very outspoken. And so at the beginning, growing up, I feel like I had a hard time figuring out who I am, who I was, because of at home, we're very outspoken. We make eye contacts. We direct our concerns and our voice. But in the outside world, we're supposed to be like, we avoid conflicts. It's not respectful to look as much as we can in the eyes. So learning all that, it can be, hard, but it's just natural for us in my family to be all growing up as leaders.
First of all, thank you for coming. I did not know you're Filipino, by the way. You're Filipino, and I have a lot of Filipino friends, and I know there's people who are always caring, and they want to help one another grow. When you see one Filipino, there are like 5 different Filipinos hanging around because they're united, and I love that because it's kind of unique, and it's not every culture that you're gonna see something like that. The bond is so profound. So thank you very much, and I got another Filipina in the house. To all my Filipinos watching. Yes, your sister right here. So thank you very much for giving us that insight. So when you were growing up in that environment, were there some things that you wanted to really become? Were there some aspirations, some goals, some dreams that you were like, oh, one day I'm going to do that?
All I know when I was growing up, I always feel that I can always teach people. There's always something that it's always good to impart something, that it's always more important to bless people than so much as receiving from people. It's just something that I feel in my gut, right? But I always dream about being a writer. I used to write a lot of poetry, but right now I'm just busy not doing it. Right now I write more poetry for God, but I would like to get back to it once I'm not as busy, being in school and all.
So how old were you when you left the Philippines to the United States?
I was 17 to 18. Yeah, but I just turned 18 when I moved here.
So when you got to the United States, what was your next move like? Oh, I'm in a new country where I don't know
Oh,
anybody.
you'll be surprised. I moved in 2 days. I got a job.
Really?
I started working. In 1 year, I actually got my first car. I have a car even before I had a license.
Wow.
There's 2 things. You know that I'm a bad driver. I didn't get my license. But I also worked hard to get my car within 1 year of moving here.
Wow, you must be a strong lady, having a cow before getting a driver's license. That's impressive. I mean, no, I don't think someone can pull that off. And you just get to America and you all of a sudden you have a job already.
I think what inspired me was like I knew moving here there's a brand new opportunities. Of course I know I didn't know America is really like a world of hustle. Like you have to hustle to get to your dreams, right? But what I did is I started working and like I told you 2 days after I have an interview and in 2 weeks I started having a job. My car, the vision of I have in the car, I cut it out from a magazine. I posted it on my fridge. So every day I come to work, I know first thing first, my purpose is to work hard to get to the car. I didn't care about working hard to buy me clothes, to buy me this. I know I wanted a car so then I can be independent and to be able to relieve that, burden from my parents driving me to work.
Wow. So before we started recording this episode today, we're talking about leadership. And you believe that you're gifted to become a leader. At what point did you come to that conclusion and what led to the moment?
I think leadership is something natural, right? You have certain gifts that you develop early on. You don't even understand, but that's why sometimes at a young age, you are responsible in many things in school, but you don't even know quite yet who you are until you become an adult. Your brain just doesn't have the capacity yet to really dissect like all these things happening, but you just know you're better off serving through your leadership skills than like following someone. You also have to be a good follower to be a good leader, right? But certain characteristics, right? The ability to take initiative, the ability to see what solutions can I bring into this particular problem, and being able to discuss those solutions, because in one problem there's multiple solutions, right? Working with many people to bring about the best to bring about the best solution to a problem. But all these are leadership traits, but the ability to take a team to the next level. You need to have a vision to see, okay, so at a young age, yes, I was like president in school of English and Filipino organization. I do other committees, right? But you're not fully developed yet, right? Because you're just learning who you are. But once I started working, I started just being passionate on certain things that is true to who I am and bringing ideas, pitching ideas. The ideas work and trying to solve problems and all that, and it just get promotion after promotion from that. So that tells you that your gifts are working out, for the organization, and just having goals and imparting that goals. But you cannot be a leader without a good, successful employee, right? Your leadership depends also on the people. You're not alone. So yes, you can work on your own, but if you don't have good employees backing you up, understanding your vision, believing in you, is not going to work.
Wow.
So I think identifying that your leadership is just as strong as the people around you working with you is just as important, because without the people working with you, supporting, laying out the vision, those hands that makes it work, it won't work out.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And I want to try to find out something. What was your first leadership experience, and how did that feel like?
2008, 2008, just start, training people, writing schedule. It's like smaller position. I was like a supervisor at a job. It was good. That's why I know it's my natural gift, because it made me feel good, but it's not for me. It's the results, because through you can empower others. Through you, another person is changing. And when it's no longer just about you, and you have the ability to touch someone else through the skill set that you're teaching, through the ideologies that you have, through the impartation, together in the community, you are all growing. So it's not just you growing, it's them too. And at work, when you have the capacity to impart something, they not only will grow with their skill sets, but because their skill sets have improved, now they can go to another job and demand for a better raise, better money, because now they have this foundation of, hey, I know better than what I know before. So now they can demand a better paycheck. So you're not just improving their skill sets, but you're also helping them build a better family life or a life for themselves.
I love that, and it's always good to go into leadership knowing that you're not alone. You're trying to empower people, and that's a problem. When I came to the United States, I've been through some experiences where you see leaders, they're not really thinking about the people, they're thinking about themselves. And the problem with that is there's nothing wrong without just thinking about yourself and you're not thinking about the people. But in the long run, you're not building a legacy. And the people, they don't feel that connection. They know, like, this guy does not even care about us. Why should I bother? And if you can't build leadership, the number one foundation for leadership is trust.
Amen.
I love leadership so much, and I know, like, without trust, leadership is nothing, and you got to earn trust, and that's the most important thing: earning trust. And how do you earn trust? Before you want to earn trust, you got to know that trust is just a magic formula. Trust is just a formula, like test over time equals trust. So you got to be ready to be tested. And the problem is people just think, oh, I just want to be in front. That's the leader. I just want to be on top. I'm the leader. But are you really? Because because the people you're leading, they're watching, they're observing you, and then listen to what you're saying and watching what you do. And if it does not match or connect, they're like, God dang, who the hell is this guy? Who is this lady?
Yes.
And you just sitting there thinking, oh, I'm leading these people, but they're watching you, observing you, like, dude, girl, this is not the leader. And your followers, they always ask themselves questions. They're like, hey, can this guy help me, or can this lady help me
It's right.
towards my vision? Is he worthy to be called a leader? And how can he impact the company or the surrounding? And another thing, does he really care about us?
Exactly.
So these thoughts always run through the followers' mind. And they're asking themselves this question, even though they don't say it, but they are asking themselves those questions. And the moment you don't really answer, as a leader, you're answering those questions.
Yes.
Every single day.
I agree. I think it's very important that, the people that are working next to you sees far than just the organization does a job. And a lot of, like what you said, a lot of the people would say, what is it in it for me?
Yep.
So there has to be a buy game for them. So if they're investing their time with you and they're trusting you that you will take them from level to level. So then you need to have a vision for the organization, but most importantly is you need to have that vision for them, for the individuals, because without a vision for them, without a map for them of like, what can we do for you so you can get to the next level, they won't get excited, because if not, they're just really working for paycheck.
Yeah, and I love leadership. And I'm so glad you came in today and we're talking about leadership, because a lot of people got to hear this. They really have to hear. Leadership is one of the most fundamental things everybody can partake in. And I believe everyone was born a leader. When I say this, people disagree, but that's the truth though. If I were to ask you, like, what is the most important part in your car, what are you going to tell me?
Important part of my car?
Yeah.
I don't know, the tires.
Yeah, you can say the tires, but is it really?
It's the driving me, like my capacity to drive the car.
And another thing is some people are going to say, oh, it's the engine. Some other people are going to be like, the battery. The battery got all the power. Without the battery, nothing's going to happen. But the truth is, without the spark plug, the battery is useless. And there's another wire called the terminal wire. The wire links the battery to the engine. There's a little, I think it's blue and red.
See, I don't know anything about cars. I can't connect.
And you see the terminal wire just costs probably maybe $20 or something. And that whole engine costs let's just say $200. And without that $20 stuff, the engine is useless.
That's right.
So you realize there's not everyone and no one.
That's right.
So you need each other. So everyone is a leader in the area of gifting.
Yes.
So everyone you have to know that. And that's the problem. Today people are like, if everyone is a leader, who is the follower? Because we're built with the Greek mindset that, oh, it's all about charisma. Charisma. You got to have charisma, and you got to have some special features of the gods. And the moment you don't have that, you're not a leader. And we have been programmed that way, and we're moving like, oh, this person does not. It's not a charismatic person. He's not a leader. But is that really what leadership is? We got to redefine leadership, true leadership, not even leadership. So I'm really glad that we're talking about this today. And what are some of the challenges you face as a leader?
I think I'm gonna be honest. When you barely don't know yourself, right? You're still learning. Knowing yourself is a process.
Yep.
That's why you have to invest time on knowing who you are, your capabilities, and then your weakness, right? Because that's the only way to kind of work on from level to get better at what you're doing. I think at the beginning, of course, when you're younger and you get into leadership's role, let's be honest, you're not as mature. Even if you think that you are, no, the world has to test you. Your employees has to test you. And you just get better as you get more trials, right? But the trials are opportunities that God is giving you so you can be a better leader for them. So one of the things, maybe when I was younger, by 22, I was in a leadership role. So maybe my emotional maturity, some people react fast when they don't like what they hear. So I think at the beginning, I have to learn how to have a higher emotional intelligence and not to react to every single thing that was being thrown at me, right? Being more compassionate. Sometimes because we have a mindset of a leader of just getting things done, sometimes you forget to take a step back and see, time frame, how much work do we need to do to really make it work. Sometimes you're just busy getting it done, and so you lose the humanness in you, which is compassion. So it's very important to be a good leader, but operate with kindness, operate with such compassion, because at the end of the day, like what you said, we're all just humans trying to help each other become better people.
Wow, that's so profound, And sometimes, we just like, man, I just want to be on top. Sometimes you want to really help people. You really want to do good for your society or for the community you live in. And then you realize sometimes your good is not good enough. And the people you're trying to like uplift from some certain ill environment, they're not going to really appreciate you.
It's true.
They're going to instead try to come up with some things to like gang up, like, this person, he's full of himself, she's full of herself. And instead of they appreciating you, they take you as an enemy. And sometimes people are like, do I really want to be a leader? After seeing this person go through all that, and sometimes it's just like, man, you have to take the courage and know that it's for you, no matter how tough or difficult it might be.
Yes.
You just have to believe in yourself.
You have to.
And that's a problem. Sometimes we really lack self-confidence. And confidence is something that we are struggling. It's not as if I'm super confident. I go through time. There's a lot of times like, oh, do I really want to do this? Like everybody, no matter how confident the person may look, the person go through some times where they're like, I'm afraid today. I don't know what's going to happen. Like even recording this podcast episode, I don't know. Before we started, I was like, I don't want to say the name wrong. Like everybody go through this moment, like that where they're not really like really super confident. Even though they feel the fear, but they do it anyway, and that's it.
I think I want to touch base on that.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to know what you carry, to know the God-given gifts that you have in order to pour into someone. You cannot teach what you don't know.
Yep.
So if you don't know that you have the capacity to empower people, or you don't have the capacity to motivate others because you don't believe in you, others may see it. Oh, this person is this, or he's really good, he's really brave, she's really good at this. But you don't know. You're not able to teach it because you don't know that it's in you, right? So it starts, being a leader starts with yourself. You have to know what you have in order for you to deposit these things to the people around you. Because, Bible verse, right? Your cup overflows. You can't overflow to the next person if you're not full yet of that specific gift. So it's very important, like as a leader, you have to motivate. Imagine you have to motivate your employees, but you don't even believe in your vision. How are they gonna buy that you all together will make it work for the organization? When at the beginning you're saying your speech and you're like, I don't really know if we have what it takes, but I believe in you. Well, what about you believe in you first as a leader, and then you believe in all of
Yeah,
us? You know,
I'm
so
glad you touched something vision, and vision is something really unique and profound when it comes to leadership. I define vision as the ability to see further than your eyes can
yes,
look. That's vision. You know, as a leader, you have to have a vision for your people, and you got to see differently. You got to understand that even though there might be challenges today, tomorrow is better than today. And you
yes,
got to believe that and have a strong conviction. Because the moment you lost that, even though things might be going well today, you know, like the end is near and it's coming quickly. And if you go away from your vision, sometimes you can't even have the self confidence no more. But the moment you know, I see something coming, and I believe, I have a strong conviction that we together we can get there. No matter how tough or difficult it might be, I believe that with my team and everybody I got, we can work together towards attaining that vision. And sometimes it's really tough, you know, like believing that, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. When the trials and tribulations come, they're like, wow, am I really gonna overcome this? And sometimes you're just like, man, God, I need your help.
amen,
And that's why you need to know that there's someone who is mightier and greater than you.
amen,
And that's we as humans, no matter whether you're an atheist or anybody, I'm not trying to impose my religion on you. I'm just telling you the truth. Based on my own unique understanding. You got it. Anyone who listening that don't agree with me, you can go do your own research and believe in whatever you want to believe in. But I know that God is real.
amen,
God is real. I've seen it several ways in my life, and I know that, man, sometimes you might ask yourself like, oh, do I have the power to do everything by myself? And you can achieve everything and you still feel empty. It's as if you've not done nothing. You do everything, you think, oh, when I attain that goal, I'm gonna be happy. And the moment you get it, you're just like, am I really happy?
that's true.
You just feel like you want more, you want more, you want more, you want more. And I love the Bible verse that says like, your gift is gonna make room for you.
Amen.
I really believe that. You know, like you can try to do everything just to impress people, but that's not really your gift.
That's right.
But the moment you get attached or you believe that
That's right.
you have a gift and you do everything towards like becoming that person, you're gonna realize that you start walking into rooms that you're like, oh my God, I never knew I'm gonna get into this point. I'm going to get to this level. And when you realize, oh yeah, I deserve to be in this room too.
Amen.
I have what it takes. I can do it.
Yes.
And that's life. That's why I just want to give people hope. Like, believe in yourself and do believe in yourself, because sometimes it might be difficult to believe because you're going through some challenges, some tough times. But in the long run, know that God is with you.
I want to touch base on two things as really key things.
Yeah.
First, I want to honor my church, because through my church, I was able to really understand the vision of God
Yeah.
and my spiritual father. I want to thank him for that. God is so good. The word says he will establish you in your ways. So how is God establishing us in our ways? Through a vision. So God gives you that vision, but that God doesn't give you the whole thing. That's where your faith. That's where your faith. God gave you something. God gave you a small vision. You know the end goal. And in the natural, we have heard this quote, end in mind, end in mind. So you need to know first, where is my ending? What do I want to accomplish? What is the long-term goal? And from here on now, every steps that I take, is it taking me closer to that goal? Now in the spiritual, God gives you a vision. And if it's not aligned what you're doing right now, it's not aligned to the vision that he's giving you, then you might need to take a step back and like reformat, your steps to take to the bigger vision. But God will give you vision. It is your right as a child, right? So that's the most important thing, like based on what you're saying. Without a vision, where are you going? You're going somewhere with you're blindfolded. So maybe you can go point A, but you decided to go point B because you don't have a vision. You're just checking A, B, C, and making it work. Process of elimination versus, hey, the vision that God gave me is to be really an entrepreneur. So from here on now, everything that I'm doing is to work on my business. Or maybe you can have two things, right? There's always one end goal. What is it? Help people, help churches. What is it God is going to give you? And then he will align, he will give you access to people, places, and things to help you. He's not going to give you a vision and there's no help. The only time we won't get help if we're away from that vision.
Wow. I'm glad we're talking about leadership, talking about vision, and talking about gift. You know, sometimes people will be like, how do I find that gift? How do I find that gift? I know I'm good at singing, I know I'm good at dancing, I know I'm good at running, I know I'm good at playing football. Like, what is really my gift? Like, if someone is asking themselves that question, what are you going to tell the person?
A gift is something that you don't think about. You just wake up and it's natural. So I'll tell you one of my, I know that it's me since I was little. I'm motivated. You don't have to tell me to wake up and make money. You don't have to tell me that I need to read a book. I will do it because I want to be better. So motivation, right? So imagine you're hiring a leader that's not motivated. You have to give them list of tasks in order to get them from point A to point B versus somebody who's motivated. You don't even need to give them a task. They already have a task, but they will come up to you and say, here are my to-do list. Do you agree with this? You know, any feedback on this? But it's something that is easy because you were born with this through the DNA that you have. You possess it. So that's why you don't think about it. That's why you're drawn to certain tasks. You're drawn to certain, like I'm not a mechanic and I'm not attracted to mechanic. But that tells you one of my gifts is not to be as analytical. I am more of a creative person. So with that, I flow. I'm spontaneous, but I don't like a step by step direction. It's not going to work with me. So there's different kinds of gifts. There's different kinds of leadership depending, right? But I think gift is something natural. It just gets better through time. The more you realize it, the more you steer your gift, it gets better. But it's something that you don't have to think about. But can you develop it? Can you strengthen it? Absolutely. From level to level to level.
Wow, I like that response. Your gift is natural. And I believe your gift is something that you do best with the least amount of effort.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Yeah, because like when you gifted at something, someone might find it so like difficult to do. But when with you, it's just like automatic.
5
it's just
seconds.
Like, yeah, like it's really not hard. You just like and the person's looking like, man, that's really difficult. And you got to start writing these things down. And that's another thing. People don't write things down. And in order for you to capture that thing on paper, you have to write it down. And the moment you write it down, you realize it sticks. It sticks. And in the long run, you start reading. You might be good at 10 things. But when you're studying yourself and writing a lot of things down, you're going to realize that, this one thing, I'm really good at this thing. And it's all about observing yourself, studying yourself, and doing a lot of self-reflection. That's how you go to the next level. And that's how you find yourself. And a lot of times we just caught up in this world of distractions. We just want to watch TV. We just want to listen to music. We just want to talk to friends. We just want to go to parties. We want to go to the club. And all around it's just noise. And sometimes you don't really have time to meditate or sit back, step back and reflect like, hey, am I really living or am I existing?
Wow.
What are some of the things that I've been doing that are not taking me towards my goal, towards my vision, towards my aspiration? And how can I step back and realize that, hey, I messed up here. And how can I improve in this area and get to another level that is not going to be just beneficial to myself, but to my community, to my family, to the people who are looking up to me. Because mind you, there are a lot of people, destiny attached to yours.
Exactly.
And if you don't live up to that, those people are just going to be, just people are just going to sit down and they don't even know what to do. So you got to know that, hey, you're not alone. There are a lot of people who are looking up
Yes.
to you.
Yes.
And when you fail, you're not just failing yourself, you're failing those people. So
That's
if
right.
you look at it from that perspective, you're going to know, like, hey, I got to wake up and I got to
Amen.
sit up. Yeah.
I think two things I want to touch base. First, reflection is very important. You know, when you do business meetings or the shareholders, Amazon and all this, every quarter they meet and see, hey, where do we need to invest on? Where do we need to cut back on expenses and all these things? It's part of the process. A lot of times, us as human beings, we don't like to reflect. We're scared of looking deeper within our souls and our minds and our bodies. But without reflection, there's no growth. But second, don't beat yourself up. Yes, you reflected. Yes, you've understood that you have made some mistakes. Celebrate the wins, learn from what needs to be worked on, move on. Don't dwell on the mistakes. And then what you just said, and that's very profound to me. If you knew right now, today, there are 10,000 souls waiting for you to be elevated. So through you, through your company, through your building, they will have a job. Some of them will be CEOs too. Some of them will be the next managers, or their family will grow because of you, right? It's time. It's game over. It's time to run for the vision that God gave you so you can be the best version for you, but for this 10,000 souls. So when you know, oh my gosh, God gave me 10,000 souls, why are you sleeping? Why are you watching Netflix? It's time to run. It's time to invest on you so you can pour out to others.
Wow.
TikTok.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty profound. And I want to transition now. You have a company called Desire to Bloom. What made you start that company, and what is it all about?
Desire to Bloom, we base it on coaching services in wellness, wealth, and faith.
Yep.
We really do a lot of workshops, conferences, and then meet and greet to just kind of help mobilize our community, mobilize individuals, partnering with people. I want people to know that you are not alone. There are, several people in the same industry that's also just trying to do what you can. But instead of just thinking of you, share the wealth. There's enough work for everyone that you will never run out of work to do. And you're not operating in a scarcity mindset by sharing your gifts, sharing your resources, sharing your network. So Desire to Bloom is about coaching people on wellness, wealth. We do workshops. I think our next workshop is on May 18, Saturday in Arlington, Virginia. I'm advertising. But we're doing entrepreneurial workshop and financial workshop. And we're trying to do another workshop, wellness and wealth, but more on wellness and wealth in Texas in September.
So what's the vision behind Desire to Bloom?
The vision is through empowerment. To gather people or work with people one-on-one through coaching, right? To be able to help them know that they have what it takes to be a better version of themselves in the line of wellness, wealth, and faith. So everybody's different. You might wake up and you realize like, hey, this year is the year that I want to grow financially, right? So everybody is in different stage in their life. So I think opening that wellness aspect, wellness has 8 dimensions: intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual, and all that stuff. So a lot of people, to have a better quality of life, a lot of people don't understand that all of this together will make you be the best version of you. So yes, you can be so good intellectually, so good, like you've read books and all these things, but you don't have the capacity to communicate that, or you don't have the capacity to socialize and interact with people. So who's learning from all your intelligence? How are you useful to the world? How are you useful to the society? So it's time, again, going back to the vision. How are you helping others? If there's 10,000 souls more waiting for you, how are you being helpful to them when you're not able to open your mouth and share that? It's all in the head. So no, you need to develop fully and maximize, the life that God has given you. So Desire to Bloom, that's why I said Desire to Bloom blooms so well on our Instagram, blooms so well that you become a field for others. So what does it mean? you become a field. You're no longer just a flower that someone can pick up. You're multiple flowers that it doesn't end. Somebody picks you up, another flower grows and picks you up. So you're useful for the community.
Wow. I want to believe you didn't just wake up and like, hey, I want to create, open a company now called Desire to Bloom, so I'm going to help people. Something led to that moment. And what was that?
My love, my passion to help people, to see people grow, to see people believe in themselves. Because I think, thank you for reminding me. I have a mentor when I was 18 or 19, I don't remember anymore. Mind you, we talked about it earlier. I came from Philippines. So my English is like, hello. And like, I don't really know. Like, oh, of course, I know I had like gifts, but like, I don't believe in myself. And this is like, American dominated industry we're in. And as a woman, there's no, it's like, it's hard at that time. I'm older.
Yeah.
But at that time, like, it's harder to be a leader. It's always like, typical men and all these things. But somebody believed in me. Somebody invested in me. And because they invested on me, I didn't know that I have the capacity. I didn't know that it's in me, right? Like, oh, I didn't know I could think like this. I could make a decision like this. And then, during that time frame where I was working, our team won 3 years back to back top team in the region, right? So those things, it's like, I just want to give back. But because one person stimulated my mind, one person invested in me, I realized that I have that capacity, I have that skills. And then later on, I was able to reproduce. I was able to like duplicate and, help other people become leaders. And to see them from someone who's shy, someone who was like, oh, I don't know if I can even talk in public. And I will give them small exercises how to talk. Start talking with 5 people. Next thing you know, they'll be talking in the stage. Next thing you know, they're invited and talking here. Or, just writing checklists, how to write better in terms of proposals and stuff like that. But then they become better versions of themselves in that area. I love it. I love it. Like to see someone. And then above all, the ability to make money because they get promoted, right? So you're changing their life, not only in their gifts, but then now their ability to produce wealth for themselves. Getting paid minimum wage is not enough nowadays to pay your own rent. But if you get promoted and make from $18 to like 35 or 45 per hour because you got promoted on the job, that's even better. So that seeing them grow not only for the now but for the future, for who they're about to become, it's inspiring.
Wow. I'm really glad I had you on today. Today's a really great episode, trust me. And sometimes when we look at leadership or look at stuff like this, we think, oh, it's a male dominated industry. So what will you say to a young lady or young girl watching or listening to this podcast episode like, hey, I want to become a leader, but I don't know if I really want to do it because it's as if leadership is a guy's thing. So what should I do? What are you going to tell that lady?
There's no age, there's no gender, there's nothing. Everyone has what it takes to be good at what they're doing. But first, you must know what you're good at and direct all that energy. So if there's, let's say your strength is you're the most organized person. If I put you with 10 more best organized people, are you going to be able to surpass that? Are you going to be as good? And if it's not, it's fine. Then start working on your gifts more, steer that gifts more so you can be the best in that particular skill, right? Second, really dissect who you are, know what you carry. And I think in your podcast, somebody mentioned have a mentor. It's very important that someone else is feeding you, somebody else is empowering you. Because if you don't have a teacher, who's teaching you?
Yeah.
So it's important to have a mentor. And when you find a mentor, honor them. There's always a blessing from a person that God gave you that blesses you. It's biblical. It's there. So just honor your teachers, honor your spiritual, your spiritual leaders, and then honor your boss. You know, you never know how your boss can bless you. I had one boss that gave me an $8 raise. That's huge. And this was way back. This was like 10 years ago. $8 raise. You don't get a $8 raise. But because I've honored her through my works, I've honored her by being loyal, by doing what she needs. I didn't care. Sometimes we don't agree. I didn't care whether I would voice my disagreements with her professionally, with love. But she's the boss. It's her vision, not mine. Until I get to, I'm having my own employees, then it becomes my vision. Right now, it's her vision. So my job is to support her. So because I supported her, I showed honor to her. When it's time to get raised, $8, $8 raise.
Wow. Oh wow, that's an interesting story. By the way, $8 raise. People are begging to get 70 cents. You getting $8 raise? That's a lot. Wow, that's impressive though.
And my boss is from Ghana.
Oh, from
That boss,
Ghana.
that lady, yeah, she's so beautiful. So I just want to tell her hi. I remember you. Thank you for believing in me and for that $8 raise.
Wow, so she's my African sister. I love that. African people are so generous. Just putting that out there. Anyways, thank you for sharing that with us. And I really appreciate you for saying that like leadership is not a gender-based stuff. You can do it no matter who you are, no matter the age gap. Like, it doesn't matter. You can be 17 and you're the greatest leader of all time. And you got to believe that. You know, sometimes people think age is wisdom, but is it really? You see some people who are like 50 years old, they don't even know what they're doing. And they're going to talk, and you're like, oh, I thought age comes with wisdom. And you realize that no, it's not. Sometimes the thing we consider wisdom are just the experiences they wish they never had. And that's not wisdom. That's not. And you like, oh, you just got to believe in yourself that, oh, you have what it takes. And try to educate yourself more, learn more, have a mentor. And I'm glad you mentioned mentorship, because mentorship plays a major role in everybody who is succeeding. If you don't have a mentor, it's going to be tough, because the road you're going through, that guy or that lady has been through that thing, and he knows what it takes to get to a certain level. And when you have a mentor, you compress decade into days, because they're going to try to like compress all the experiences and let you know, like, hey, this is the right path, son or daughter or whatever. Like, hey, if you go through this path, this is how you go. This is what you're going to get, and you got to be prepared for what is coming. And even if you don't have a mentor, you're not even going to know. You're just going to excited. Oh, I just want to get this thing up and running. And you, bam, you realize, oh, there's a lot of setbacks. And you got time. And sometimes you don't have that time. And all of a sudden you give up. Why? You do not look up to someone. People will be like, I want to be my own boss. I want to be the boss. I don't want to listen to somebody. I don't want to look up to anybody. But the truth is, if you don't look up to someone, how are you going to move forward?
Amen.
Everyone look up to someone, and you got to try to believe that even in as much as you're a leader, you're also a follower too.
Exactly. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a story of where you know that it's like no man is an island.
Yeah.
This is where you humble yourself and say, I'm ready to receive from someone else.
Yeah.
There's always a blessing through another person.
Yeah. And when you live your life like that, you understand that we're just students of life, and you don't have everything figured out. We're just learning every day. Even the mentor you have, he has a mentor or she has a mentor, and they learn from one another, and that's how life is. And the moment you realize that, you're gonna realize that, oh yeah, probably I was getting some things wrong, and maybe I got to readjust now and get my life towards the right direction. And the moment you do that, you're going to realize, oh my God, I've been missing a lot.
Exactly.
And you will learn a lot from your mentor. Now that we're talking about Desire to Bloom, where do you see yourself with this
You ready for this?
organization in the next 10 years? I always like long term,
wow.
so let's
Okay.
go.
I remember we talked about vision, the end goal. Of course, I saw the end goal already before I started doing that.
Yeah.
I'm in school to be a nurse practitioner. Eventually, right, we're going to be able to dissect more on wellness. more
Mm-hmm.
profoundly. But the vision for this is like a building of all the wellness, everything, like one stop shop building where, you need a massage therapist, there's one there. You need a counselor, there's one there. You need spiritual help, there's one there. It's that, but it's like conference after conference, one-on-one workshops. And when this gets bigger, I really pray that we can actually build scholarships
Mm-hmm.
for people so we can invest in them and be counselors, right? And so they can get paid at the same time and they already have a job after they finish their training with us. So it's a bigger picture of wellness, wealth, and faith, the whole aspect. But the end goal is we serve the community in all dimensions of wellness.
Wow. I really believe you're going to pull that off. And with God by your side, everything is
Amen.
going to be possible.
And
And just be ready for the trials and tribulations. They're coming.
yes,
They're coming.
they're coming with you too.
Yeah, they're coming. And you got to be prepared for it. Like, I'm already experiencing a lot already. And, I know it comes to the territory. That's why it's always good to understand that this is season. And you got to understand, you have to know the season you're in your life at the moment. Because if you don't understand the season, sometimes you're just like, I'm going to give up. I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I have what it takes. And that's why we got summer, winter, spring, and all the seasons. And during the summer, you never throw away your winter clothes because you know winter is coming. And during the summer, you're not going to put on all those jackets under the hot sun. You're going to be sweating to death. And you don't want to have that experience.
That's
So
right.
when you know the season, you know how to dress, you know how to behave, you know how to compose yourself. And that's how you have to do it yourself. Do you know the season of your life? And if you don't know that, figure that thing out and learn, improve, self-reflect. That's how you do it.
That's right.
And you get to the next level. Yep. So is there any other thing you want to say to the youth watching this today and people aspiring to become leaders tomorrow?
Oh, wow. Just, pray. If you've been living a long life and you haven't gotten a vision, connect and ask God, hey, God, I want to know, what am I here for? You are born for a reason. So get connected with God and He will reveal it to you, but do it with all your heart, with all your sincerity, right? And be ready when He answers that door. He will tell you, start moving. So you don't delay. Don't delay because, again, if there's 10,000 souls waiting for you to move, you got to take care of this souls, right? But reflect, where am I now? What do I need to do to get to where I need to be? So, and don't be too busy switching back and forth because then you're wasting time. You know, there's a lot of tools online to realize your strength and weakness, but stick with one. When you do too many things, you don't
Yeah.
really mature, you don't really develop. So what we talked about, and then get a mentor, get somebody who can help you steer your direction and somebody who's knowledgeable and has experience so then they can help your hand and speed it up a little bit. But trust trust you. You have to trust yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, nobody's gonna trust you. You think if I don't talk with trusting myself, you're not gonna believe me? Who is this short person?
Yeah.
But yeah, I trust the vision that God gave me, so I'm running for it.
I'm glad you said that. You got to trust yourself and you believe that you're most qualified to help the person you used to be. And a lot of people are going through some moments right now. They're like, oh, I'm a sinner. I've done a lot of crazy things. I'm terrible. I can't help nobody. I don't have a voice. Trust me, anyone listening to this, you have a voice. Because all those challenges, everything you've been through, someone is going through that thing now and they want to hear someone's voice. And you never know, maybe your voice is that voice. And you got to speak up because someone wants to listen.
That's right.
Yeah, and you have to know that, like we said earlier, your destiny is intertwined with a lot of people's destiny. And if you fail, you fail in those people. So you got to think about it and say, oh, I got to wake up, I got to sit up, I got to step up my game because there are a lot of people that are looking up to me and I don't want to let those people down. Oh, What a good episode this has been so far.
So many things to talk about, right?
Yeah, it's so good though.
So good.
But I would, well, wrapping up now, I want to ask you something. I always ask a lot of my guests. I'm like, out of every experiences you've been through in your life, if there was one experience that you can take away from those experiences, what would it be?
It's a lot. Just one experience in anywhere.
Anyway.
I think for me, the most important experience was waking up in the spirit, because once you understood your right and who you are in the spirit. I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
right? And I found Christ 2 years ago. I wasn't looking for him; he pulled me. But the revelation, the understanding, the wisdom from the Word, you can read the Bible, but if it's God is not authorizing you, there's no knowledge from the Spirit. Once your spirit wakes up, it's game over.
Yeah.
It's game over for the devil because you're moving on to your next life. So, waking up to know who you are, your purpose, what am I here for, is really important, because that takes you, everything that you're doing now, today, first thing in the morning when you wake up, helps you, propels you to the direction of your assignment in the kingdom.
Wow. And spirituality is something that everybody got to take seriously, no matter what you believe in, no matter what you believe in. Just connecting with a greater being is so unique. The feeling you get from that, like there's no other thing in this world.
I'm gonna ask you this: you're a Christian too,
Yeah, I'm a
right? Because
Christian.
you were honoring God, so
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
amen.
Yeah, I'm a
So
Christian.
now you really know solid who you are,
Yeah.
because you have God with you.
And it was a journey though. And it was a journey. And how do you find out who you are? It's through God.
Through God, He
And you
reveals.
got to know, like on the episode I have with what's his name, Daniel. I said this. I'm like, every product they always have like a manual, and that manual is kind of like a booklet. It has a warranty and a guarantee, and the warranty and guarantee guarantees you, like the manufacturer guarantees you that, let's just assume in the case of a phone, they've tested this phone and they know that this phone you can use this phone for 8 hours and the battery is not going to die off. But after 8 hours, it might die off. But they guarantee like, hey, 8 hours, you can use it. You can browse through the internet. You can go through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. They guarantee that you can do that. You can use it to do your payment, like the payment. And you're like, oh, yeah. And then if you don't read the manual, you're not going to really know every functionality of the phone. And maybe you're using like maybe 10 and then maybe like 1,000 and you think you're smart when there's still a long way to go. And you got to realize that there's no product that leaves the manufacturing ground without being tested. It is always tested. Like even the cars, there are some people who are just there just to test it to make sure everything is good. So that car that you think is new, you're not the first person driving it. Someone tested it to make sure, it's actually safe for driving.
That's true.
And they know all the capabilities of that thing. So you have to know that, hey, there are a lot of tests coming, and you got to be prepared to take the test. And you got to know, what is the manufacturer saying about my life?
Amen.
And how can I learn from him?
Amen.
Because you never know the creator's mind if you don't read the manual for your life. And what is the manual for your life? It is the word.
It is the word. Wow.
It is the word.
Wow.
And you got to read that word to know what he's really saying when it comes to you.
I agree.
That's what I really think. So yeah, it's been a great episode, and I really thank you for coming.
I want to thank you for this platform, for not more than the business, more than leadership, is really glorifying God. So thank you for allowing me to speak about him in my own knowledge of how he revealed himself to me. So thank you.
Yeah, I always give my guests an opportunity to say something to my audience. So what are you going to tell them?
Follow us. Decide to bloom. But thank you for listening. Really appreciate you for listening, and thank you for the opportunity for having me here. But again, it goes back to square one. Have a vision, have a map. You can only get that vision if you ask God. and He wants you today.
Wow. Thank you very much for coming again. It's been a great episode. And oh my God, the time just fly by. And I really appreciate you for coming. Hey guys, make sure you check out Desire to Bloom. And you're going to be really blown away by some of the amazing things she's doing. And thank you for tuning in to this amazing episode. It's been a great one. And I know that you're going to share it with your loved ones, friends, and family. Please don't be selfish. Don't listen to this alone. Just share it. Help someone. Like reach out and say, hey, it's a great episode today you got to listen to. And boy, oh boy, they will not be disappointed. So make sure you like, share. And if you're new to our channel, just do us a favor and subscribe. We drop an episode every Wednesday. Make sure you check it out. Thank you very much and see you in the next episode. Benrolins Blueprint comes to an end. See you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you.